Hey guys, Queen Crazy here. It's obviously a Sunday, but you know what that means. Oh yeah, it's 15 minutes of fame time. Yeah, because you know what? This 15 minutes of fame, this topic, is not one that I would talk about a lot. Because obviously, as you all know, if you watch the WWE programming, it is a complete pile of horseshit. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, then you obviously don't know. This is, of course, me talking about the women's division, and specifically what the hell we should do with it. Because you know what? There are so many ideas as to why we are here right now. Why are we in this position where the women's division is considered so shit that we should, in some opinions, get rid of it? Some people's opinions, just get more people in for it. There's different kinds of opinions for this. People may think at the moment, because of the women's division talent there is, say, okay, these are the people in the women's division who I believe can wrestle. Gail Kim, despite the fact she's officially quit, I have no clue about. Maurice, Beth Phoenix, Natalia. They're four people that I could think of right there. The rest of them, the Bella twins, I can say can wrestle a fair bit, but they need a bit more time in the ring to show it. I would also say for Kelly does not deserve to be women's champion, so yeah, that is not good at all. But nonetheless, people are thinking the WWE, the Divas have never been this shit, right? Nah, that ain't right at all, because the women's division has been so worthless twice to the WWE that in effect they've had to get rid of the title twice. Think about that for a second. You don't know? Let's freshen up your memory. Let's go down memory lane, shall we? Because after the original screw job between Wendy Richter and Fabulous Moolah in the late 80s, the WWF never had a real women's division figurehead to carry. Sure, Sensational Sherry did win the title, I think once or twice. But then in 1991, Rockin' Robin, I think retired or left WWF, and the title was deactivated during her reign. I know that for sure. And it wasn't used for 2 whole years. Okay? Then Alundra Blasey and Bull Nakano were in the mix of a feud and had the title back and forth with each other. Of course, also Bertha Faye held it a bit because Bull Nakano got injured. But still, after that, those three people were the only people to hold the title in a 2 year time span. Then, if you know your stuff, Alundra Blasey went to WCW, dropped the title in the trash. It was deactivated for another 3 years. Then, of course, the women's division would be relegated to just comedic value and managing roles, which, of course, when Sunny came along, the women's division started to become over-sexualized. And if you heard my rant on my Q&A about the most inappropriate gimmick in the Attitude Era, you'll know exactly what I mean when I say that it was the worst. The sexualization of the divas for the eye candy for the male audiences. Because that sent us on a downward spiral. Because it got worse over the course of that area between 98 and 03, I think. It was actually quite a ridiculous concept to have a diva in there, because they just relegated swimsuit contests, evening gown matches, bra and panties matches, some kind of swimming pool pillow fight type thing. It was really, really, really stupid. And despite that, they still managed to have great matches with people like Trish Stratus, Lita, Victoria, Molly Holly, Jacqueline, Chyna, Stacey Keebler, Tori Wilson, Jazz. There's so many on there. There's so many good women's talents because, despite all of this crap that was going on, they still were able to draw in good talent. Sure, even in the latter part of this decade, we had some great people, consisting of mostly Michelle McCool, Melina, uh, you can't lose track. Oh yeah, and Mickey James, to name just the three that I can think of off the top of my head. The the one problem that the women's division has had is that this over sexualization of the women's division has in a way played to its downfall, because think about it this way. Since when Sunny came along and it was over sexualized to the point when we end up getting striptease models, people, cheerleaders, people like that who had no wrestling experience. We had some people like Lita, like Trish, who was brought in as valets to become wrestlers. Of course, that would be a possibility. But when you think about it, They kept doing this. The Diva search, exact same premise. Sure, Nydia and Melina came from Tough Enough. Nydia didn't really do anything. But at the same time, you look at it, where thinking, they shouldn't have done this. They shouldn't have just brought in all these skanks and hoes from different professions. They should have just kept the wrestling, because I think they should have just done that. And you see, over the past couple of years, with many divas going and leaving, it was noted that, because when Candice Michelle won the title, I was thinking, okay, I got that one right. I predicted it in the match, obviously. And I look back on it now thinking, oh, was there anything worse they could have bloody done? No. It just, the fact is, it highlighted that just about any skank that could come off the street could literally just dance around in a bikini and make fools of themselves and then win the women's title, which is a bit of a disgrace. Because I bet any self-respecting woman in the wrestling world who happens to be watching this video right now, answer this for me. Would you sign up to be part of professional wrestling in a company, specifically WWE? I'm guessing no. You know why? Because it is slightly ridiculous. Because you're going to be eye candy for the guys, but then again, a lot of people don't consider it. I saw a Facebook post recently that said that, oh, people go crazy, the women go crazy over Randy Orton just because he's hot, and then women will suddenly say to you, male viewers or male people who watch this sport, will basically say, oh look, it's the same thing for the divas. It isn't, because honestly, a lot of the wrestling fans want the divas to wrestle because that's what they're there to bloody watch. Anyone who just watches the divas for sex appeal really should just get the fuck out of there, because that's not what it's about. You're here for wrestling to enjoy the wrestling. I know that obviously will change for different people, but I've never ever thought sex appeal would drive a wrestling thing. I mean, seriously, it's not as bad as it used to be, because these divas at the minute are just wrestling 6 diva tag matches with no premise, no feud. Okay, sure, there's this Natalia Beth Phoenix thing against all the princess divas, Barbies that have been around, but in all fairness, it's not as bad as it used to be, because you're not seeing Fabulous Moolah go around in a bra and panties match. I don't want to mention that. Plus, also, you're not like Trish Stratus barking around for Vince McMahon in her lingerie like a dog. You're not like that either. Plus, I think it got to the worst part when HLA came in. Search up Hot Lesbian Action WWE 2002 into YouTube. You'll see kind of exactly what I mean, and it typifies exactly what I'm trying to put against here, because it's stupid. So I'm thinking now, with all these shit divas around, the women's division with no real direction, the only thing that really could have saved it was, of course, this Karma angle, which fucked up big time when we found out she was carrying a baby in her womb. I mean, it made Dawn Marie go, but she got released. I mean, in all fairness, the one thing, I'm all for equality and saying, okay, wrestling isn't just a man's sport, when we can get into it too. But this is where my liberal ideals of equality can just be thrown aside, because the women's division is now so stupid and toned down to the point where we don't care. There is the prohibitive bathroom break, right? Every wrestling fan who watches a pay-per-view live show can say it's a bathroom break. I mean, I just sit around and watch the wrestling when I'm in the stands because I think, okay, I want to see if these two can actually pull off a good job. But when we look at this, it's all crap now. You know that. What can we do? Would you get more people in? Does TNA treat their Divas division with a bit of respect, even though their matches are still quite short, about 6 minutes? They still are in one-on-one matches. They have a tag team division for them, because they have enough to fill out that void. I keep thinking, why can't WWE just do something like that? Make the Divas division a bit better by having different kinds of women. Because it's like they're trying to say, oh look, we're just like everything else. We're celebrities. We look pretty. We basically just look good, and we've got this. We hold around this butterfly design championship, so the girls can go, oh, I want that because it looks sparkly and butterfly shaped. No, it's just, if you're gonna make the women's division at least profitable, make it where the wrestling can balance out and each personality is different. Because Maurice is slightly like a slut and French at the same time. You got Natalia and Beth Phoenix, who are hard-hit wrestlers. The rest of them, actually, the Bella twins are twins, which can interswitch, much like the Basham brothers. But apart from that, every other diva is the exact same. And that's the problem we have. Karma was such a contrast because she was massive and could physically destroy people. That's what made her different, which is what made her angle stand out until it was crushed by her pregnancy. So they need to just stop putting them in this mold. That's why Victoria, that's why Lita, that's why Jazz, all of them were different because they had a different side to them. Lita was the punk with all the tattoos and all the rebellious stuff. You had Jazz, who was just ridiculously muscular for a person her size, and of course Victoria had the freaked out psycho, which was actually fucking entertaining. But the other option available is you can get rid of the women's division altogether, which I don't think WWE will do anytime soon. Because think about it. Imagine how much time in a Raw show you could get to fill out new talent in. We didn't have... I mean, SmackDown didn't have a women's title on it from 2002 till about 2008. And it was still able to put on Divas matches with very little feuding to them unless they were valets to other wrestlers. Billy Gunn, Kenta Suzuki, I'm looking in your direction. But seriously, do they have a purpose in the WWE? No. The fact they got rid of the women's title with over 57 years, not 57, yeah, with 50 years of lineage, that's a reason why I think they should just got rid of it altogether. Because if the Divas haven't got enough talent, there isn't enough difference to showcase they're any worth watching. And the title is only a couple of years old to show that they are just trying to build from the bottom again. You know, it to me sums up that this division is just going to go down the shitter, isn't it? I mean, if you're anybody who's anybody, you'd be better off just getting rid of it. They've done it twice already. They got rid of it in 91. They got rid of it in 95. And sure, the guys they had on the male roster weren't, well, they were big names. They weren't, you know, big to bolster everything. But as wrestling is a male-dominated sport, why not just keep the divas to the valet, the interviewers, like Lillian Garcia and Terry Runnels were? Why don't you just keep them to that role? It might be a bit sexist, some people might think, but it's better. Because the Divas division is worthless. Has been since 2008-ish, I think. 2006 if you want to go back to the far wrestling side. But since Melina and Victoria and Gail Kim and Mickie James, the people who actually were in the wrestling side are no longer there, and there's not enough to bolster. What do you think? Should we just get rid of it? Because that seems like the most logical explanation. Because in my Xbox 360 WWE 12 SmackDown vs. Raw created universe, I don't use the Divas. Because one, I can't do the voices, and that would be hell. Absolute hell to do. But also, it's just pointless. Because what would the feuds revolve around? Same old shit with looks and relationships. Hey, it was a relationship that somehow, in a way, got Melina fired. Oh, it gave John Morrison the cold shoulder, but I digress. So what do you guys think? Do you think we should just get rid of the women's division? Do we just keep bolstering it with good talent and make it seem worth our time? Or could WWE's creative team just literally think for a second to book them all differently? Make them unique. That's why having people in who could do good movesets, like Chyna, like Sable, like Jacqueline, who could fight with the guys, was actually a good thing. Because it was all different. So what do you think we should do with the women's division, guys? I'm leaving that up to you. Comments in the comments section, please. And guys, that is my 15 minutes of fame for this week done. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, and you somehow haven't pressed the little button that's flashing above that screen, you click on that thing. And if you want to be a little discreet, press the like button down there somewhere. And guys, my Q&A moderator is now up. You've got about 3 weeks to put your questions in. And I will be doing the video towards the end of the month. You can read all the information in there. I will tell you this, guys, also. I'm going to be doing my Raw reaction video on Tuesday night because I'm going back to college on Tuesday. So I won't be watching Raw live because I've got to wake up early in the morning. But still, hope you guys have a fantastic week. And I hope wrestling can get off to a good start for this upcoming week. Please, Raw be good. Please. I've been Queen Crazy, you have been People Watching, I am the voice of the new generation, and I will see you next time. Cheers.